they just released their official gameplay overview trailer. But before we get into that, I am genuinely worried that this team is not going to break through. I think that's the case here. I'm starting to see the writing on the wall. Like, the trailers do okay, right? They get a decent amount of love, and we'll open this up as I'm talking here to really see how much
Rated
love
M
this is actually getting. Okay, this is good. 258,000 views is more than I was expecting. But Rebellion is not great at their marketing. They have the Sniper Elite series. It's been the same kind of song and dance for them for years now. So they now need to market a completely new game in a completely new genre. That's a totally different bear for them. So I'm really excited about this game. If you have not been checking out Atomfall, it's kind of like Fallout, but in the UK in a small, like, British town. So let's watch this one together. I think this is going to be everybody's kind of first taste to really see the nitty-gritty, the nuts and bolts. So let's do it.
Mature.
If you've been waiting for a special occasion to break out your hazmat suit, then look no further than Atomfall. Here at Rebellion, we are excited to introduce you to this new world and what it has to offer. However, there's far more to Atomfall than what we can showcase in a single video. This is just a glimpse of what's to come. Atomfall is a brand new, single-player, first-person action survival game set in a post-war Britain. It will have you traversing the Lake District of Northern England, uncovering mysteries about the quarantine zone and the people that inhabit it.
My name's Molly. I got some bits and bobs for sale.
My name's Nat, by the way. Forgive me being curious of strangers.
Atomfall takes place in a fictional quarantine in 1962, just 5 years after the real-life event of the Windscale Fire, the worst nuclear disaster in British history. However, in this altered version of history, there are more mysterious and sinister things at play behind the scenes, and you must uncover the secrets of what happened. It's up to you to discover the truth behind the disaster and figure out just how much of this world can be saved.
It doesn't matter what else happened, as long as the truth of this place gets out.
Before you can set out on that quest, you'll awaken in the quarantine zone with little knowledge about who you are, the life you've lived, and certainly...
I gotta say, just very quickly, it looks better than some of the early gameplay snippets that were out there led me to believe. I'm actually really happy that it looks as good as it does here, like visually, right? Visually, it looks good because some of the early stuff, it felt a little like mid to late 2000s, and I was not impressed, but this is looking much better. Now, of course, this is a marketing video, right? They're going to record it in as high quality as they can, highest FPS, hopefully, that they can. It looks good, so that is a good sign.
The strange new world around you. A rather nasty bout of amnesia.
You're not
Minus some of the
first
animations.
amnesiac I've seen since things went awry.
Are you a law-abiding citizen? A terrifying menace to those around you?
Oh,
Or
dang.
are you perhaps someone just trying their best to survive in a dangerous, unfamiliar place? The choice is yours. And Atomfall gives you the freedom to embody any role. A village in one of the areas you will visit is controlled by a military group that was sent in to set up and maintain the quarantine after the disaster. A noble cause. But some might question the lengths they've gone to restore order.
I shouldn't be gossiping about this stuff.
Armed soldiers patrolling the roads of the village. Robotic sentinels on a hair trigger, prepared to attack at even the slightest hint of aggression.
Oh!
Villagers who live in fear as a result.
Soldiers will string you up for anything these days, and my husband was exploring where they don't like you to explore.
Does this group really have the villagers' best interest at heart?
But step out of line, and I will revoke your liberties here just as quickly as they were given.
Outside of the village is a lawless land
Voice acting's pretty
filled
good.
with bandits and cultists who don't care if you're friendly or not and will attack you on sight.
Be cautious.
There are so many things to consider on your journey through Atomfall. Exploration is a critical component of the experience, especially when it comes to your survival. The quarantine zone is in the idyllic countryside of northern England, but it is not as it once was. An abandoned rail yard, a derelict stone quarry, and verdant rolling hills contain more than just pieces of a prior civilization. As you explore these places, you'll find secret bandit hideouts, mysterious messages,
Secrets, clues, and leads that might help you figure out how the world fell apart. These can lead you to eccentric characters, secret hideaways, or even the rundown bunkers of the British Atomic Research Division. You'll never know when or where fragments of the bigger picture will be brought into focus, but you will always need to be on guard. These facilities may not be as populated as they once were.
A cool visual here.
However, the halls are often patrolled by the same robots used to patrol the rest of the quarantine zone, as
Gotta
well as
shoot their backs,
irradiated
see it.
feral creatures
Big red
that
canisters.
won't hesitate to tear you apart. You will also come across caves and underground tunnels that seem to have been affected by the wind-scale disaster the most. Glowing plants and mushrooms cover the walls, floor and ceiling of these places, giving off a hazy fog that makes them more dangerous to traverse than other places you may go. However, the environment is not all you need to worry about. The same terrifying ferals found in the bunkers also live in these areas and will not stop to ask questions before trying to tear you apart. Be sure to be well equipped to handle these creatures and be extra cautious, as not everything is as it seems.
You're trapped in the quarantine zone around the Windscale atom plant.
How are you going to defend yourself against all these threats? You're going to need weapons, supplies, and materials, all of which you can find through scavenging the locations of Atomfall. However, if you truly want to survive, some things may need to be taken by force. The weapons you will come across include melee weapons, like the cricket bat, or ranged weapons, like pistols, rifles,
Think you're good with that thing?
and shotguns,
Get this over with, Sean.
each with their own strengths and weaknesses. During your journey through Atomfall, you may even unlock the ability to upgrade your weapons and give them more power. The ammo for these weapons will be in short supply, so you must either find or craft what you need to survive. However, weapons are not the only thing you will need on your journey. You will gather resources, like cloth and alcohol, to craft various items, to heal yourself or harm your enemies. Over time, you'll expand your crafting abilities to create more aggressive tools of self-protection. Other tools at your disposal include a flashlight to light the dark paths ahead, and a trusty metal detector to locate buried caches of supplies. A handy ping will alert you when one of these caches is nearby, signaling you to equip the metal detector and begin the hunt. When you aren't scavenging for materials or searching for buried treasure, you might also find various manuals that contain valuable knowledge. These manuals will imbue your character with new skills across 4 categories: ranged combat, melee combat, survival, and conditioning. Even at the end of the world, knowledge is power. Careful selection of which skills you focus on will determine your playstyle and the path you carve out for yourself in Atomfall. We won't be going fully in depth on these skills and what each one entails right now, but as you progress, you will need to pick and choose what type of playstyle you want to focus on in Atomfall.
I really should stop talking. Not personal, but you can't trust anyone too much these days, can you?
We hope you enjoyed the first glimpse into the world of Atomfall. Leave a comment with what you are most excited to see when the game releases on March 27th, 2025. Atomfall will be releasing day 1 on Game Pass, Xbox Series and Xbox One consoles. You can also play on PC through Windows, Steam and Epic Games, as well as PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. Stay tuned for an upcoming video that will delve deep into some of the gameplay mechanics we mentioned here. This is going to be a game you don't want to miss out on.
All right. Wow. Man. Okay. So I was pretty quiet during all of that because I was really soaking it in. I got so many thoughts, guys. Man, it's crazy. The first thing I think I just have to say, because it's the first thing that popped in my mind, was sure, it looks like Fallout, but it's not the scale of Fallout. And I think it's really important to remember that the developers are setting themselves up for this. They are setting themselves up to be directly compared to Fallout. They made that decision. They clearly do not have the scale and scope that Bethesda has for their Fallout games, because just by the combat and the weapons, and even the skills that we saw very briefly, it's a little bit more contained. It's a little bit smaller. Like the weapons themselves, you've seen a shotgun, a pistol, and a rifle. And like, you don't see any augmentation of it. You don't see like any evolution of that weaponry. We kind of got a glimpse of the same thing from the beginning to the end. The skills, same thing. 4 different skill trees. I think it was 3 skills in each with 3 different upgrade paths for each of them. That's not that expansive. Myself and Livid, we're always in the camp of like, we want a skill tree that is going to transform the way you play a game, not just simply make you stronger. That's what's an interesting skill tree to us. The world itself, I think, is its saving grace right now. It's an interesting looking world, but I fear that in the world itself is a bunch of enemies that we're going to fight 500 times over and over and over again. We saw bandits, we saw cultists, and we saw like the feral guys underground and some of the like weird bunker things. We're going to fight them so many times. I worry that there's just not enough depth. Animations are a little janky. You could see some of the stiffness, and I see you guys in the comments kind of saying the same thing. A little stiff, a little rigid. I can forgive that. This is not Bethesda, it's Rebellion. Totally different studios. Rebellion, this is not their wheelhouse. This is totally new for them. A good thing is that this is coming to Game Pass on day one. This is absolutely a Game Pass game for a lot of people because they're going to see this unknown quantity. Sniper Elite is not a universally known series. Yes, it's iconic and it's beloved by the small community that loves those games, but like we're not talking, okay, this is EA's next big adventure, Activision's next big adventure. No, it's Rebellion's, and like that's going to mean something to a lot of players who aren't necessarily in tune with every single game that's coming out on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. For $50, I don't know. I think Game Pass is the play here. We're going to have to see a lot more of this game, some deep dives, some raw gameplay, all that good stuff. We're going to try and bring you guys maybe some preview stuff of this. Maybe we can get in with the developers and bring you guys some stuff early. Who knows? But it's a cool looking game. I hope it continues to kind of show us what it's made of. And again, Atomfall, March 26th. Game Pass and pretty much everywhere else minus the Switch.